Coming up, what an excellent day for fathers. And howdy, folks, and welcome back. This is The Exorcist Minute, a show where we are endeavoring to examine, extrapolate, and excavate The Exorcist minute by terrifying minute. My name is Lester Clark.
And I'm Keenan Diaz.
And we'll be your holy guides on this journey through what some have called the scariest movie of all time. Okay, so our minute starts with the man in khakis walking through the dig site.
And it ends with the uncovering of an artifact.
And I think we pointed this out in the previous minutes. This is the actual site of ancient Nineveh. Friedkin not only insisted on filming in Iraq, but he wanted to literally be in the location of the ancient city. You know, just in case he hadn't pissed off enough supernatural forces back home. Folks, none of us know what awaits us on the other side. And I think Friedkin is hedging his bets here and making sure whomever he meets over there will be properly pissed off at him.
And that's sort of his thing. Be sure everyone's pissed off. If he pisses off everyone equally, then he's doing things right.
Right. Equal opportunity piss offer. Now, the first thing I noticed this time in this minute, knowing what I know about a certain supernatural being we are going to meet very soon, is that the wind in this minute suddenly picks up and is blowing in what seems to be a very deliberate direction. If you look at the left side of the screen, you'll notice the sky is a little bit brighter. So the sun is over there, and we assume that it's setting, not rising, because it seems brighter in the previous minutes. So that wind is blowing in a westerly direction, maybe not true west, but thereabouts, which means our man in khakis is walking southwest from the right of the screen to the left.
Very ominous. And Lester, I know you're worried about reading too much into this. I don't think you can read too much into anything, because film is like the most complicated medium we've ever had until the invention of video games. I mean, so everything is put there. And even if they're shooting on location, they wouldn't be using just naturally where the light is. I mean, they would be putting the light on the left side of the screen and using reflectors and actual electrical lights. So I think you're onto something here.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope so. So another archaeologist indicates that there have been some interesting finds, some lamps, arrowheads, coins. But the first thing that the old man picks up is a medallion. And it's weird because it's not from the same time period as the other stuff. It's also suspiciously Catholic. And that's where our man in khakis looks around and says, wait a second, am I in The Exorcist? No.
Am I the Exorcist?
Am I the Exorcist? Am I the titular character here? What? But Keenan, do you know about this medallion?
I know nothing about medallions. I know they are very Catholic, but it certainly looks very Catholic to me.
Yes, it's a very, very Catholic. I myself have a medallion of Saint Michael that I got from a place in Rome, and it looks it's the exact size. It looks like the exact same kind of imprinting on the metal. So,
and what is Saint Michael the patron saint of? Do you remember?
Saint Michael is, among other things, he's the patron saint of. Hang on. You know what? I have the power of the internet here. Let's see. Saint Michael, patron saint of military and police forces, fierce warrior and defender of the children of God. So I specifically got that because my brother was deployed. And it was a bit of a surprise for us. He's in his military career, and he just got the news that he was going to be deployed. And he and I share a middle name, which is Michael.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just kind of a coincidence that St. Michael happens to be the patron saint of military forces. But I sent off special to Rome to, I think it was like the St. Michael Basilica. And I got 2 medallions. I got one for myself and one for him, so that he could wear it while he was over there and I would wear it as well. And it worked, I guess, because now he's home. And
that's so sweet. And he's Captain Clark.
He's a major now.
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize he got promoted. Yes. Oh, wow. Yes.
So yeah, we're really, really happy and thankful. I specifically went to a church to get it blessed, and he had to go and get it blessed. And my God, the paperwork or the just the kind of like the hoops you got to jump through to get a priest to bless something.
What do you got to do to get a priest to bless something around here?
You know what? Who would have thought that there's so much bureaucracy behind blessings and exorcisms and things like that? You know. I wonder if this movie will talk about that.
So, anyways, yes, it certainly does look like one of those Catholic medallions, the ones that are the man in khakis pulling out here.
Yes, yes, it does. And this specifically is a very special medallion of Saint Joseph with the Latin phrase Sancte Joseph ora pro nobis, or Saint Joseph, pray for us.
Oh, so the Saint Joseph.
The Saint Joseph, that
Okay.
Saint Joseph, yes.
He's so famous, even I know who Saint Joseph is.
Yes. Something to note, Joseph is the patron saint of immigrants, families, fathers, and expectant mothers, which seems like he's taking Mary's thunder a little bit. I read that and I was like, hang on, you are neither a mother nor did you expect what happened to you. So I Googled Mary just to make sure that, yes, she is also the patron saint of all mothers and also of all humanity. So I think she's okay. I think we can let Joseph have this one. But I wanted to bring that up because I'm always on the lookout for saint medallions when they appear in film. Because usually there's the saint of something germane to the film. And here we have the saint of families and specifically fathers. And not just that, but the person of Joseph is of a man who adopts the role of a father while not necessarily being the true father. He performs the duties of a father and is a father figure to Jesus, while Jesus's real father is not physically present in the picture. And not to put too fine a point on it, but I find it really interesting that we have characters in this film with the title of father, that is a priest, stepping in and taking the role of surrogate fathers for another character. I think that's really interesting.
Right. And of course, we have Regan later. I hope you're not watching this film without having seen The Exorcist, watching it a minute at a time every week.
Yeah.
But later on, we're going to see Regan, and her father is not in the picture.
Yes, that's actually a good point, Keenan. There are some movies by minute podcasts that do that, and they try to avoid spoilers. We will try to do our best to keep some of the big surprises until they happen. But this is a movie that I think has been in the public zeitgeist for a while now, and I think everybody knows what's going to happen. There is going to be an exorcist and an exorcism.
But who is the exorcist?
But who is the exorcist? Well, actually, I have questions about that.
Yes.
For whatever reason, our man in khakis hands the medallion back to the other archaeologist and turns his attention back to the hole as if something is still there. And yes, after a little bit of digging, he does find something. We can't say what it is in this minute because it's still obscured in a clump of dirt when he takes it out. But I swear Friedkin is doing something weird with the sound in this specific shot. Keenan, did you notice maybe a faint change as he's reaching in there to pull the thing out?
Oh, not with sound at all. No. I think I am too visual of a person.
Okay, so maybe it is just my imagination. Maybe I just really want there to be a sound there.
Well, we don't have any dialogue or any other things. So, I mean,
True.
We'd be working with the soundscape to create some kind of feeling in the audience.
Yeah. I did listen to it again, and I swear I'm hearing something. And to me, it sounds like wind blowing. And then I think, well, that's ridiculous. There's wind all around them. But it really does sound like Friedkin dropped another fainter track of a different wind, perhaps a wind from another time.
Oh,
and
okay.
Folks, you might be thinking, God, this guy won't shut up about wind. But there is a reason, and I'm excited to get to that in the next couple of minutes. One more thing here. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it because it's been mentioned before by other people who have examined this film. Keenan, did you see The Fly?
No,
not the Jeff Goldblum movie. I mean, The Fly that is in this shot.
No, I've seen the Jeff Goldblum movie. No, I don't know what you're talking about. And now I'm wondering if I'm the crazy person. No, what fly?
Okay, so when our man in khakis pulls out this object, a fly lands on his hand before the shot changes. I am almost certain that was a mistake, but what an excellent mistake.
Right.
Again,
this would be before the days where they could train flies through CGI. So this would be, almost certainly a fly that they might have tried to attract there, but it would not be something they could have done on purpose.
Yes. Now, folks, I'm in LA and there are acting schools for flies all over the neighborhood. And, there's competing, it's like, do you go to Meisner? Do you go to Strasberg Fly School? You got
to be careful. A lot of them are scams, and they'll want you to take your children flies, your maggots, and make them into big stars. And they usually have ill intentions.
Right. You got to pay a fee. You get, it's like, Jesus. Okay. So it's a fly. What do we associate with flies? What
Oh,
do
and he
we?
gets on his hand as soon. I'm watching it now again. As
Yeah,
soon as he picks up this artifact,
this
yes, it gets
artifact.
right
Yes,
onto
right.
his hand.
And it follows his hand out of the shot. It stays with
Right.
him, out of the shot.
Well, with movie mistakes, so with any film, they're filming each shot several times. They have several takes of it. So they have a bunch of different options. And if you are a student filmmaker or someone who's trying to make films, usually you have different takes because something has gone wrong. The camera, you forgot to take the lens off the camera, or somebody says their line wrong, or the camera falls off the table or whatever. But in professional shoots, most of that stuff is taken care of. And so you actually have, 3 or 4 takes of the same thing happening. And so even if it is, as you're saying, a mistake, they have chosen to keep that shot in the film out of 3 or 4 different takes. So it is, if they did think, oh, how terrible, we had this mistake in it, they would have cut it out.
Correct. Yes. And as we know, Friedkin is a huge perfectionist. We're going to talk about other scenes later on where he does multiple takes just to get the right take. And so the fact that he noticed this fly and he said, keep it in, it means something.
It certainly doesn't hurt when you start looking at the entire fabric of the film. That makes a lot of sense. And that's the kind of thing that can, on a repeated viewing, now that I see it there, I do kind of feel like, ooh, chilling.
You could almost say electrifying. I'm just going to keep driving that.
I did want to mention one thing before we talk about, this final shot in our minute, is that in the editing here. So we have Father Merrin, or the man in khaki, who is kneeling down, and then we immediately cut to the tray of artifacts that he has to choose from, and he's able to immediately pick out this Catholic medal, which I find really interesting. It's a little bit like say the ritual where they decide the Dalai Lama, and they've given him this tray and they say, pick the one that belonged to the Dalai Lama, and this is how you know that you're the reincarnated Dalai Lama. Like, he seems to have a gift. He's able to look through all these tiny things, and our eye can't see the difference in any of them, and that cut is immediate, and he's able to pick up this this medallion, as opposed to this cut that goes into our last shot, where we cut and we are looking from his perspective, and we just see a bunch of dirt and a bunch of mass, and we can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And he can't either.
Huh. I didn't even pick up on that. That is really cool. And it does speak a little bit to how quickly he also seemed to find the artifact in the hole, because I observed he didn't do a whole lot of digging. Like he joins the archaeologist and he grabs his pickaxe and he's in there for like maybe a couple of seconds, and then he pulls out this other artifact.
Right, but we're asked to sort of look with him and see if we can see what he can see, and of course we can't. Right. And what I love about the way that this artifact is pulled out is that it has been sitting in front of our eye, right in the center of the frame, without us able to see that it's. We can't even necessarily see that it's a clump unto itself. That it is a removable piece of this wall of dirt.
Oh, that is spooky. I remember there was a commentary on I think it was either the first or the second movie, Alien, where the alien itself is hidden in plain sight.
My goodness, that is one of my favorite moments in the cinema. Yes, it's just right in the background, and because of course the alien and the ship, the Nostromo, look very similar, we don't expect it there. And I'm thinking also of a similar shot near the end of Signs, which is more spoilery, but so I won't go into that.
Okay.
But we have one of our characters is standing right next to a gray wall, and then the gray wall moves, and you've been looking at the gray wall for a good 30 seconds, or it feels like eternity, and you don't even expect that there'll be anything there. And all of a sudden, what you're looking at moves and reveals itself.
Oh, I really like that. And that just makes this shot so much more spooky. The fact that we have been looking at this thing that he uncovers the entire time. I really like that. So he pulls this out, he stands back up, walks over, and rather than use his own brush, which I'm sure he has, he takes the other guy's brush out of his breast pocket to brush the dirt off this thing he found. Now, I know, like, this isn't supposed to be funny. We're stopping right before a big reveal, and I'm sure this wasn't meant to make me laugh, but it did. Just the fact, go back and look at this. He's holding it. He's kind of like wrapped in concentration, and without looking up, he just reaches into the other guy's breast pocket and grabs out a brush, and he starts brushing. And the other guy is kind of like, oh, well, okay, I guess so.
I guess that's what we do when a British, Swedish person or whatever comes to my country. They just use my brush out of my pocket.
Just take everything from me. Go ahead. Now, Keenan, you have told me before that everything on screen is deliberate and intentional, and I would assume even more so with a director like Friedkin. So is there a reason we don't have him use his own brush, or have I plumbed the depths of what a minute by minute film analysis podcast is supposed to be?
Well, again, it might not be deliberate and intentional, but it's useful for you to assume that it is, because then you might be able to actually think about these things that bother you in a given film, or stand out, or seem to break the rules either of film language in general, or of the film itself that the film has established. So I don't have an answer to that, Lester, but you seem to like it. I don't know. It might just be that we didn't want to cut to Father Merrin, pulling a brush out of his own pocket, or something of expedience. But the colonialist critic in me is pointing more towards, yes, it's Father Merrin. It just reaches into the Iraqi man's pocket and gets to use whatever he wants. But I don't know if anyone has any answers to these, really interesting little details. That, again, in a well-constructed film,
yes,
everything is very analyzable, if that's a word.
Yes. All right. Well, that is it, folks. This minute is done. Keenan, do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, let's talk more about that wind next time.
All right. Okay, folks. So until next time, the power of the fly compels you.